everybody. Welcome to February. I'm excited to share with you the books and the decks that I have chosen for this February. As you know, February is Black History Month, and there are so many incredible African American influencers, movers, shakers, so many people who have had such a positive impact in our world today, especially right now. I think it is needed more so than ever. And this month, I have intentionally chosen four incredible Black women who I have become acquainted with, and I absolutely love their work. So, as you can see here, I've got my four selected for you here. You'll notice that I'm actually not using a tarot deck this month. So I am actually going to be challenging myself to dive further into Lenormand and into oracle work and put the tarot to the side for just the month. I will be doing a few readings with them every so often. Of course, with my clientele, I will be doing some readings as well. But I really wanted to challenge myself to step out of the tarot bubble and start working with some more incredible uh, tools that are out there. As you can see here, with my curated choice, I'm starting off strongly with Abiola Abrams' Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle. I had a chance to work with this a little earlier, and it is a very incredible oracle. There are some elements of tarot in it that I will show you here in a second. Abiola Abrams has also created the African Goddess African Goddess Oracle deck, as well as the Initiation of the African Goddess, which is the companion book for the African Goddess Oracle deck. Her work is absolutely incredible, and I mean, I first and foremost, I love her artwork. If you can see here, we'll go through the cards here in just a second, but this is published through Hay House, as you can see here. But yes, I'm super excited to dive into that. I also have Erika's Lenormand of Hope by Erika Robinson. We'll talk a little bit about Erika Robinson as well when I'm going over the overview of the deck. She wrote an incredible book called The Language of Lenormand that breaks down Lenormand, however you choose to say it. It breaks it down very easily. She takes it one step at a time, which makes it very easy to learn. So, and again, artwork in here is absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend checking out her YouTube channel as well, In the Company of Cards, where she does Lenormand readings on what's going on in the world today. So I really do recommend giving her a look, especially if you are looking at expanding your Lenormand practice, just like you do with your tarot. She brings it forward into the 21st century so easily and makes it so easy to understand. I have here now Maria Minnis, Tarot for the Hard Work, an archetype journey to confront racism and inspire collective healing. When this book came out through Wiser, there you go. So if you can see it, there we go. When this book came out through Wiser, I knew that I had to pick it up because here she is using the major arcana to heal a lot of racial tension, to heal a lot of racial wounds that are going through. And while I may not be African American, I think the work here is so incredibly vital and so incredibly wonderful, especially because coming from a place of privilege for being a white man, it is also on me to learn, and it is also on me to confront my own bias, my own microaggressions. So it is going to be uncomfortable, I'm sure, but it is going to be absolutely worthwhile work, and I will let you know what my collective review is of this. And then now, of course, somebody who I greatly admire, Michelle Obama. So I've picked up her book Becoming Michelle Obama. Whoops, there we go. Becoming Michelle Obama. I've gotten a very quick start into this, as you can see. So this was highly recommended to me by another good friend. It is actually part of the Oprah Book Club as well. So I'm excited to dive into that and to see what it means to become Michelle Obama, what her words of wisdom are. Every time I've ever seen her speak, she's been very very just elegant and eloquent in her speech. So I'm excited to read her story and read about her becoming. So, as you can see, again, these are the four. We'll dive into each one in just a second. We will be right back. And welcome everybody. So here is the first deck that I will be using for you this month. Erika Robinson's, Erika's Lenormand of Hope. So this was put out by La Panthère. La Panthère has got a lot of wonderful decks that have come out, including one of my favorite tarot decks, the Rhythm and Soul Tarot deck. I'm looking over to my desk or looking over to my shelf to make sure I said the right one. But they also have the Southern Gothic Oracle as well. So this is the little booklet that you do get with it when you purchase this book. You also get a QR code here that you can scan for the booklet as well. And I just first and foremost, one of the things I love is just look how beautiful this is. Like this is such a beautiful deck, and what I love about it is that the and give this nice couple of shuffles here. The artists of these cards have done such a great job of 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 just the vibrancy of the artwork here. I think like if you look at Fox here, it's got a softness to it, but it's still beautifully filled in, beautifully colored, beautifully like the colors are very gorgeous, and it's dreamy and soft, but it's not like this wistful and vague feeling. Key here. So if you're not familiar with the Lenormand system, it is based around 36 cards. It is based on a game called the Game of Hope, and it's called Lenormand because it was developed by Mademoiselle Lenormand, who was said to read this for Napoleon Bonaparte. And again, you'll notice here, I'm just kind of flipping through just to show you what I'm going to put this off to the side here because this is one thing I thoroughly love. One other thing that I love about this deck is is that yeah this was developed by her in France at the time of the Napoleonic era, and it is said that she actually was a reader that read for Napoleon. So I'm just gonna flip a few more cards for you here. And again, I think what I love really much love about this is that this is just there's a vibrancy about these cards. They're vibrant, but they're soft at the same time. Now, I pulled out the man and the woman cards here because you'll notice that we have a younger woman, an older woman, but you also have a younger man and an older man. Now, if you watch Erika's channel, she does talk about keeping these in the deck for themselves. So she does keep them in to stand in for people who are in the news today, or for not popular, but for headlines that are happening in the news. And she will selectively choose a signifier, significator, however you want to say it, for the person that it's going to stand in for. So, for example, older gentlemen could be somebody in office, it can be somebody who is in an advanced age, whereas a younger man might be an upstart or one of the leaders of the newer movement. So, for example, I can think of the newly elected Zoran Mamdani could be considered the young man, whereas somebody like Tim Walz might be considered the older gentleman or the older man. And I love her style of reading. So to give she does such a great job with she you could tell she knows this system so well that it is so easy for her to just go through and look at it. Look at this anchor here. uh and yeah, she's really wonderful to watch. She makes it so easy and makes it so down to earth. And in fact, I really want to give another shout out to it. I won't be reading this book because I've already read it, but if you are very interested in learning about Lenormand, her book, The Language of Lenormand, A Practical Guide for Everyday Divination by Erika Robinson. Highly recommend it, especially if you get her cards. And I think I'm going to do a real quick deviation before I pull some more cards for you here. But a real quick deviation here. What her cards, I think what her approach is wonderful because the first chapter, she goes through the cards from 1 to 36. But the first chapter, you just focus on three cards: Rider, Clover, and Ship. Lenormand is an interesting system, and you can actually use this technique with tarot, but with a Lenormand system, not only do you pay attention to, I should say rather, the cards that are in front of you, you pay attention to how they interact with each other. So you do pay attention to their order. So if you look here, even though you're using just the first three cards, she says here, Rider 1, Clover 2, Ship 3. Tell me what those three can tell me, in a reading. Now switch it. Ship 3, Rider 1, Clover 2. How does that order change the meaning of the cards and the message is trying to tell you? So as you can see, this book has traveled with me quite a bit. It's a very good read. It actually has gone on the high seas with me, so I do recommend Erica's language of Lenormand if you are wanting wanting a really good resource to come to as you read. And a little further on down the line, I do plan on doing videos on just resources for Lenormand and Kipper and tarot and different types of topics in that. So pay attention as we go to that a little bit later on. But for right now, I want to just do a real quick interview with the Lenormand. Now, I am going to probably pull the cards. I'm probably going to pull the little guidebook here because Lenormand is a system I'm still learning. I'm not as strong in, but that's another reason to set down the tarot for right now and focus on my Lenormand practice. And I want to ask the Lenormand, what type of what what would you like to know? What would you like to know about us working together? What can I expect if we work together? And I'm just going to do three quick cards here. We've got Tower, we've got Rider, and we've got Cross. Interesting. So the tower in Lenormand is very different than the tower in tarot. When the tower in tarot is pulled, that means things breaking apart. Whereas with the tower in Lenormand, it can mean structure, it can mean institutions, it can also mean isolation. So if you can imagine like Rapunzel up at the very top of this tower, isolated from the world around her. So there are many ways to read Lenormand. You can read it from the left to right, or you can read it with the center card being the subject and the two cards around it being the influencing cards, which is what I'm choosing to do right now. So we've got Tower, excuse me. First and foremost, the Tower. This tells me that there's going to be structure. There's going to be room for intuition, but there's also room for structure, and that this is going to be a practice worth taking on. Now, Rider tells me that I'm going to jump into it because Rider is about messages, Rider is about receiving messages, but it's also about moving forward. The Rider can very much feel like the Knights. As you can see, he's on a horse here. Let me do a double check here and see what Rider. Rider is easy because that's actually number one in the whole thing. So let's see what it says here. Rider, Rider, Rider. News coming in. So oops. See if I can show you that here without the shadows getting in the way here. So news coming in. The first card in Lenormand, the Rider, serves as a herald for all cards to come. The Rider indicates that news is coming. So bringing news, but bringing news in a very structured way. The Cross is a card of burden and the card of wear of being worn down. So this is about a heavy burden to bear. So my sense of it is that the tower is saying this is learnable, this style is learnable, this just requires structure. My normal sense is that I want to go and I want to run and I want to go fast, like the writer does. And that's going to turn it into a burden. That's going to turn it into a slog. That's going to turn it into a very unpleasant experience, which is not what we want. Now, I'm going to gather the cards up again. And this time, I'm just gonna ask what kind of readings are we? What kind of readings are you good with? What kind of readings would you like me to refer to you on? The moon. Interesting. We have the older gentleman, the older man, and whip. That's interesting. So, older man. So, I'm going to say that the older man can stand in for me because in Lenormand, if you don't have man or woman, if you don't have one that's got a non-binary, man can stand for you as the primary if you're male or if you identify as male, whereas woman can also you can also identify as yourself for if you're female presenting, since I am male presenting in my everyday life. Male moving into man, excuse me, moving into the moon. Moon is not just about intuition, but moon is also about reputation and self-image. So this is a good. It's also about career. So I had to do a quick look up here. So, man going into reputation and career, but then going into whip. Now, whip I have to remember. I'm going to look that one up because, again, I don't quite remember. Give me one second here. Discipline, arguments, repetition, writing, sports, and sex. So, the first thing that jumped out to me was discipline. So, this is going to help me in my divination by helping me refine and hone my um, shoot, I just forgot the word. Give me one second. I'm sorry, friends. I just forgot the word all of a sudden. Through discipline and repetition. So this is telling me that this is good for repetition, and I do believe that Erika writes about that in the language of Lenormand, where she likes Lenormand because, unlike tarot, which can sometimes take an attitude if you ask the same question over and over again, uh, Lenormand doesn't mind. Lenormand doesn't mind it if you are asking the same question. It will just give you another way to think about things. It'll answer it in a different manner to help you get the message. So that is Erika's Lenormand of Hope. All right, friends, welcome back. And for the Oracle deck here, as you can see, I've got the Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle by Abiola Abrams. This is through Hay House. So got the little H there, so through Hay House. It does come with 45 cards, of course, your guidebook, and then the deck itself. First and foremost, I love look how vibrant, how beautiful the back of this deck is. What I love about the Hay House decks is that they have that satiny finish. So if you remember from my last month, one of the things that I did not enjoy with the Divination of the Ancients is that it's super shiny and it's super sticky from the shiny. This is a satiny finish. So I'm gonna turn it around here so you can see these, but you'll notice that we have Father of Earth, generosity, Father of Air, leadership. I thoroughly enjoy the Peacemaker, persistent patience. The again, this is all vibrant. Creature of Fire, choosing freedom. The artwork in this is so incredibly vibrant, and again, it's not overwhelming. And if memory serves me right, I am going to read this here, but I do believe that, let's see here. I'm just reading to make sure, but she does focus on ancestral work and all of that, as which I love. So got the martyr here, and she writes some beautiful things about ancestral work and its use in your own practice. Now, let's see here. I'm just reading through this. So the back of the box here says, I'm just going to give you this little quick blurb from the back of the box here. Our ancestors have much to teach us about ourselves and our place in this life. This 45 card oracle deck is designed to help you connect with the spirits of your ancestors, the divine, and the harmonies present throughout the universe. Featuring 5 suits of ancestral figures, each corresponding to the elements of Ase, fire, water, air, and earth. So this is an incredible uh, very easy to use, and I want to say gentle, but also honest oracle that you can pick up with. And each card, you'll notice that there are some crossovers here to the tarot. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just pull a card here and read to you a little blip from the book itself. You'll notice in that misshuffle here, this does look surprisingly, I don't know, surprisingly not flimsy, but the cards do. You would think that the cards don't have much give to them or have a little too much give to them. That is not the case. So this deck does take me a little extra work did take me a little extra work to work in here as we shuffle them. In fact, I get to work with them a little bit more, but I'm going to just pull a card here and read to you what it says. We have Altar of Water, Love Overflowing. So we got Altar of Water. Let me look it up here in the book itself. Here we go. So Suit of Water, Altar of Water, Love Overflowing. Divine love, romantic love, communal love, every kind of love is pouring through you. This is the beginning of something beautiful. Now, for each card, Abiola creates, again, we have very similar to what we saw with last month, we have a little part where it talks about some of the meanings. It also has a spot for ancestral memory. Sweet water mother, the Orisha Oshun, comes forward to teach us the holy blessing of libation, an ancient prayer practice. Pouring libations is a key traditional way to honor ancestors in many cultures. So this is a representation of Oshun, of the Orisha Oshun from uh, uh, African culture, or from African religion. You have ancestral medicine. Libation is an act of love. Pour libations for your ancestors. So here you have some things that you can do, some rituals that you can do. Shadow aspects. So she does go into reverse. So if you happen to pull it upside down or in reverse, you are holding back on love. She does also include a tarot correspondence, which in this case, as the Altar of Water, the Ace of Cups, as you can see, that makes a lot of sense. And then declaration is involved in here too. I guess declaration kind of like a mantra or an affirmation. I like that she uses the word declaration. I trust the guidance of my heart. So that is a little how this works here. And again, this is very much steeped in many of the Orisha from Africa. So just gonna give, just to give a quick heads up there. There we go with the misshuffle again. So now, again, beautiful, beautiful deck. Now we're going to ask again, just what kind of a relationship do you want to foster? What kind of a relationship should we foster here with the cards? Pull three cards for you here. So we got the root of fire, the root of air, and the shadow. I'm going to turn these around for you here. So root of air, root of fire, and the shadow. To me, this is telling me that this is a deck that is all about getting past your comfort zone. We have root of air, explore. So the root of air, which I do believe would be like the Ace of Swords. So the root of air, being able to explore the depths of yourself, the good, the bad, the things we don't like, as well as the things we do like. The root of fire says risk it all. So being able to say, I see this, I'm not feeling confident in this, or I'm afraid, I'm feeling this going far outside my comfort zone, and still being willing to just go for it, to just 100% jump in. So again, root of fire, ace of wands, but also I think you could feel, to me it feels like there's also an element of fool energy in there too. Then we have the shadow, trials and tribulations. To me, this also feels like a great deck to confront and work through the shadow. I don't like the word confront the shadow because to me that feels like it's saying the shadow is something that needs to be defeated. And the shadow is neither good nor bad, it just is. It's the part of ourselves that we don't always want to bring to light. So that can mean things like jealousy, possessive, all those things that we are ashamed of that we don't want to bring to light. So the shadow is trials and tribulations, and I like that it's saying that we can be gentle, but we will also be there to we will also be there to hold to guide you through this and help you confront the shadow. I did just do a quick look up here, and it says that the shadow does correspond to the moon in tarot. So take with that information what you will. So yeah, I'm not gonna pull any more because honestly, I feel like they're pretty cut and dry, and I feel like they spoke very, very clearly. Again, this is the tarot. I'm sorry, the oracle deck that I will be using this coming month. I'm sorry, this February. The Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle by Abiola Abrams. All right, everybody. Now, time for the books. First and foremost, we've got Tarot for the Hard Work, an archetypal journey to confront racism and inspire collective healing by Maria Minnis. You'll notice that in honor of Black History Month for February again, I have chosen some works that are not only written, excuse me, by incredibly prolific, wonderful African American women, but these are all going to challenge me. So the Lenormand's going to challenge me with a new system. The Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle, excuse me, by Abiola Abrams is going to challenge me with working on shadow. This is going to be one of the things that I know is going to help me come to terms with my own internalized microaggressions, my own internalized biases that I fully acknowledge that I have. And I think that this came out at such a pivotal time in history that while we have tarot, we don't just have to sit on it and use it as a woo-woo tool. We can use it to create real change in our life. Now, Maria does not go into the minor arcana with this. This is all major arcana work. But what I love is that she is going to give you things to work with. She is going to give you things to think about. This is published by Wiser Books. I'm just going to do a real quick look here so I can read to you the different contents here. But like the Fool Toolkit, write your racial healing glossary. The Empress, defend public spaces. The Emperor, toolkit, encourage workplace equity. So this does focus on the major arcana, but the beautiful thing about it is that Maria is going to give you things to work on that are going uh, to help you confront the own biases that you may have. Now, I fully acknowledge too that as a cis white man, I will have my own biases, and that is what I'm most looking forward to. Is it's going to be uncomfortable work, like I said before, but I think this is going to be very worthwhile work, and I do highly recommend in this day and age that it is something that is vital work for all of us to do. Now, let me get out of my TED Talk mode here. What I'm going to do is I do have Radiant Weight Tarot here. I'm just going to pull cards until I get to a major arcana card. And here we go, right from the get-go, we've got the Empress. So we pull the Empress here. I'm going to open up the book to the Empress itself. As soon as I find it, what page are you on, Miss Empress? Page 36. There we go. So as you open it up here, we have the Empress. We can say peace on earth. We can sing about it, preach about it, or pray about it, but if we have not internalized the mythology to make it happen inside us, then it will not be, by Betty Shabazz. So you'll see here that first off we've got the little bit of the introduction here about the archetype itself. So all liberation work is creative work because our job is to create the world to come. And in waltzes the Empress. That is the very first. Very first sentence there. And then you go into how you can use the Empress archetype for yourself in confronting the internal racism and inspire collective healing, like the subtitle says. From there, you go to embodied keywords. Pull out the Empress card from one deck or several. Take a deep breath and pause, and then you can write keywords that involve the Empress. So, it might be like fertility. For me, I always think mother, maternal energy. I think incubation. I think fostering. I think nurturance. And then Maria goes into the Empress and liberation work because, yeah, even though the Empress is kind of is seen as a mother figure, she can still do liberation work through nurturance. Let me read to you a little bit of what it says here. The Empress emphasizes safety and protection in their work, not just for themselves, but also for those who don't have it. In their toolshed is a keen cognizance of their privilege. They know when to sacrifice their safety to protect others. When people feel protected enough, they are more likely to take social, physical, and financial risks, to exit their comfort zone, to fight for others' safeties. From there, she has correspondences for inspiration. How the Empress can show up. We have the balanced Empress, so the Empress that when she is in her highest and best, and then we have the imbalanced Empress when she is not in her highest and best, when she is in her most scarcity, I could say. Honoring Black womanhood. So we have honoring Black womanhood here as well as suggested exercises. We also have some prompts here as well. So okay, and it keeps going to what I love here. So identifying as the Empress, magical practices, becoming the Empress, set personal, relational. The thing is that you're not just reading, but she gives you the stuff to work with. So, especially when you have building a toolkit, what you can actually do by pulling the Empress, what can you actually do to make the world better as it is right now? And in this one, it's defend public spaces. So, again, this is going to be a book that is going to get thing that's going to make things very, very uncomfortable. But I think that is the point of the book, because in order for change to happen, we cannot always hide behind our own comfort. Now, I'm not going to use the Radiant Tarot to give me a reading on the book itself on what to expect. In fact, I'm actually going to use Abiola Abrams tarot cards, or oracle cards. I keep saying tarot cards. I'm so used to tarot. But I'm going to use Abby Abrams' oracle cards just to give me a little bit of an idea of what is it that I can expect when I'm done reading this book. What's going to be some wisdom? Basically, what is my experience going to be with reading tarot for the hard work? We have the Deviant, Boo Boo the Fool, and the Father of Earth. Interesting. So the Deviant, chaos and destruction, which corresponds to the Tower. Boo Boo the Fool, possibilities and potential. Very much again the Fool, like in tarot. And then Father of Earth, generosity. What I feel that this is going to teach me, it's going to help me tear down a lot of my own walls, a lot of my own internal fight or flight. You might find this funny, but when it comes to terms of just political unrest and what's going on in the world, especially at this point in time, I tend to go into a freeze mode. And so I think this is going to help me confront what causes me to freeze, but also get out of the freeze and speak openly so that I can come in and, like the Father of Earth, give generously, create safety, and with Boo Boo the Fool, doing something different than I would before. So, that is the tarot book for this month, Tarot for the Hard Work, an archetypal journey to confront racism and inspire collective healing by Maria Minnis. All right, friends, and finally, the self improvement book that I have chosen, Becoming Michelle Obama. I am not going to lie to you. I have very little knowledge of what this book is. I'm only 10 pages in. But already, what I love is that you get a chance to learn how Michelle Obama became Michelle Obama and how she grew up near Chicago, I believe is what she said in the book. If I'm wrong, I will come back and retract that. But how she became the incredible person that she is. I make no bones about how much I've admired the poise, the dignity, the grace that she exhibited as First Lady. I am not going to go too far into the book because I don't really have much to talk about. Um, it is an Oprah Book Club selection from 2018. In fact, let me read the little sleeve here. Let's see here. An intimate, powerful, and inspiring memoir by the former First Lady of the United States. When she was a little girl, Michelle Robinson's world was the South Side of Chicago, where she and her brother Craig shared a bedroom in their family's upstairs apartment and played catch in the park, and where her parents, Fraser and Marion Robinson, raised her to be outspoken and unafraid. But life soon took her much further afield from the halls of Princeton, where she learned for the first time what it felt like to be the only black woman in a room, to the glassy office tower where she worked as a high-powered corporate attorney, or corporate lawyer, and where one summer morning a law student named Barack Obama appeared in her office and upended all her carefully made plans. So it is a memoir, but it's also, I think what I'm also looking forward to is that the different sections of the different chapters of this book have becoming such and such. So let me read those to you real quick here. Chapter 1, Becoming Me. Chapter 2, Becoming Us. Chapter 3, Becoming More, and then epilogue. So again, it is a lot going on here. There are, I guess they're not really chapters as much as they are sections. You have those three sections with chapters in them. So again, very excited to undertake this and very excited to learn more about about a very solid, powerful woman who very much helped shape the nation to in the early in the 2000s. Now, again, we're going to pull out The Secret of the Ancestors by Abiola Abrams, give you a sense of what we got here. And I just want to ask these, what wisdom am I going to learn? What can I expect with this book and this undertaking as well? We got the chiefess, the huntress, and the goddess circle. Okay, so what I first very much enjoy is that these are all cards with female presenting with female characters. I don't like the word characters, but female presenting figures. The chiefess, the strength tested. So learning what it means to be strength, learning what it means to be strong with dignity. Very much the strength card in tarot. The Huntress Soul Awakening. This is interesting because I'm not sure. I might have to do a lookup on this one. But if I were to guess, I would say this is probably close to the star. I will do a lookup on that. I will look it up in the box in the guidebook here. But the Huntress Soul Awakening, what it's going to stir, what it's going to awaken in me. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, let me get the guidebook here. The Huntress is number 20. The Huntress correspond judgment. Okay, so tarot correspondence is judgment, the card of higher purpose and higher calling, and then the goddess circle, the wheel of change. Now, this is the wheel of fortune. So once again, we are in another Wheel of Fortune moment here. In fact, you can see we've even got a 10 up here. So again, learning about fortune, learning about how changes happen, learning what that means. So again, I'm going to keep this brief with this one, not mainly because I don't know much about it, but I'm really excited to read it. I'm really excited to learn from the incredible Michelle Obama and learn about her experience and what her life all entails. But again, I love that we have the goddesses came out, all of them female, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune for this year. All right, friends, and there you have it. Those are February's selections. There were so many wonderful things that I could have chosen from, and so many incredible books and incredible decks that I really had to narrow the scope down, which is kind of what made it. It's a good problem to have. There were so many wonderful selections that I wanted to bring in, but exercising a little bit of restraint for myself, limiting myself to just two books and then two decks of cards for the month was really my big goal there. I can't. I hope you will follow along with me as I'm going through these cards. I hope you can share some of your wisdom. If you've worked with these, if you've read these books, if you worked with these decks of cards, please share your knowledge with me. Share your experience with me because I'd love to hear it as I create my own experience for February for Black History Month. So. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you, absolute pleasure to share with you. I look forward to seeing you at the end of the month with my reviews. And pay attention because in the coming weeks, I will also be doing a pick a card for this month. And I look forward to delivering all of those to you. Bye, everybody.